Hi, hello, and welcome. I'm definitely not Fun Machine, and you're watching me go from Bellend to Legend on a Brewmaster in the War Within Season 2. What does Bellend to Legend mean? It means I go from 0 to 3k rating, and this time I'll be doing it pug only. I do reserve the right that if I basically fail the challenge and can't live on my own, that I can call in Danny or somebody else from the squad to help me out and complete the challenge. Complete the 3k rating at least on this character. But I do feel like as a tank, I'll just have enough time to keep queuing into dungeons until I get actually good enough to complete them and survive them. Barring, of course, the fact that sometimes healers just won't give me any healing and I die. Because I think Brewmaster doesn't have the best self-sustain out there and does require a little bit of attention from healers. Now in the top left corner, you will notice that we have a list of chores. I have done most of this, but I've not done some of the more time-consuming stuff like the normal raid and another set of delves, because we did this yesterday during the gearing stream. We've collected the renown rewards for the crests and valor stones. We've done the weekly quests in story mode Gallywix for the Sparks enchanted crest and 2 pieces of veteran gear. We've done the Nightfall event actually multiple times for veteran gear, and once for the champ token, which we will save for later. We'll spend that last because we want to spend the token, and that's this token right here, for a piece of gear, like a guaranteed piece of champion gear for a slot that we want, which is going to be wonderful. Then we did Siren Isle, so we have Circe's Circlet. We're running basically just the secondary stat gem. So this gem that just gives every secondary, and the damage gem for 2 nearby enemies doing some damage, and the legendary Skipper Citrine. This is what Wowhead recommends. I didn't have time to really test things out for myself, but that makes sense because the other way around, you just stack mastery into this gem, and mastery for us isn't all that important. We're going for versatility and then crit. Those 2 we want to stack, but the rest we don't really care about. Then I did Horrific Visions. I got a champion and a veteran piece out of that, which I do believe the champion piece is these leg wraps of Insatiable Vision, which have crit verse, high verse, which is perfect. So those are not getting tierified unless all the other pieces really suck. We'll see how that turns out. We have Bountiful Delves, Hero/Champ gear. So what I did was I did 1 tier 8 delve and I did 3 tier 11 delves because I didn't have tier 11 delves unlocked. I just did an 8 once, and then in the tier 11 delve I did use my Wave Scrambler to summon in the underpin, and that has netted us some some gilded crests, which is really nice. I hesitated before to do tier 11 delves because sometimes I struggle with tier 8 delves, but that's because usually I go in there with like 580 something item level. This time around I went in with significantly more, like 600 something. So it was pretty chill, especially as a tank. As a tank, you really have 0 problems doing delves. Then we did some M0 runs. I think we only did 2. I think we ran a Rookery and then we ran a Priory. And I think from the Priory, I got this helmet. From the Rookery, I don't think I got anything. I can't quite remember. I don't think I received any upgrades. Upgrades, whatever. And now what I have left is, it says normal raid, crafting, and spending Nightfall champ token. But what I'll also do is more bountiful delves, because why wouldn't I? There is no reason not to. I have, what are they called? I have 5 restored coffer keys, so I can run some more run some more delves, because we're still rocking a 528 leather bands a wrist from leveling. We use this when we hit level 71, and I haven't been able to replace it yet. So getting a champ piece there would be great. And I also have some veteran pieces like my shoulder, my chest, which would be nice to upgrade. So ideally I would just craft myself wrists, and these I would get from delves, or one of them can at least be replaced with this token, but I'm probably going to craft wrists. So what I'm really looking forward to from delves is some fractured sparks of fortune, if I can get those. If I can get just one, I'll be very happy, because from my renown I've been able to get this enchanted rune Undermine crest, and from Hero Gallywix I've been able to get another one. So I crafted myself this weapon with one of them, which took 2 sparks, so I'm down to just half a spark. And then I have this one from the renown from Undermine. So what's gonna happen next? Well, I'm going to show you some basics of Brewmaster. How does Brewmaster work, so you can follow along in the video and make sure that I suck at the spec, because right now you don't really know if I suck at the spec. Maybe the spec just sucks. But after this explanation, you'll understand that it is indeed I who suck. So how does Brewmaster work? Basically, other tanks usually have an active form of mitigation, like for instance, Warrior will have Shield Block and Ignore Pain. In tandem, those 2 are very powerful, and you want to make sure you have those up all the time while you're fighting enemies, right? Protection Paladin has Shield of the Righteous, which you gain by spending your Shield Slam. For Blood DK, you have Bone Shield, so on and so forth. VDH now has Bone Spikes, whatever they're called, Demon Spikes. Pretty much as a form of active mitigation, because you can keep it up all the time depending on the talents. So anyway, they all have things they use. Now, Brewmaster is a little bit different in that regard, where your stagger, which is a mechanic where when you get hit, a certain percentage of that hit, let's say you get hit for 100 damage, a certain percentage of that damage, let's say 20% or whatever, or more depending on buffs, will get done to you over time. So you'll only take 70 damage, and then 30 damage will be done to you over 10 to 13 seconds depending on your talents. 10 seconds usually, and 13 if you have Bob and Weave like I do, because I don't think I'll be using Black Ox Brew. I don't think I'll be able to remember to use it. Who knows? Maybe I'll switch to it. Doesn't matter. So how do you get rid of stagger? You use your active mitigation, which is Purifying Brew. That sounds funny to say, but removing stagger is your active mitigation. This is how you reduce the amount of damage you take. So Purifying Brew removes 50% of the damage being delayed with stagger. So the sooner you use it after you take a bunch of damage, the better it will be. Now, how do you know when you're going to take a bunch of damage? Well, big tank busters, on the start of pulls, you know you're going to rack up a lot of damage very quickly at the start because you don't have other forms of mitigation going, like, for instance, Fire Breath, when you put it on enemies, reduces the amount of damage they do, and so on and so forth. So you want to use that. Now, another important thing is Celestial Brew. When you use Purifying Brew, depending on the amount of damage you have in stagger, depending on how high your stagger bar is, you get stacks of a buff called Purified Chi. And depending on how many stacks of Purified Chi, 6 being the maximum, you have, Celestial Brew will absorb more and more damage. So Purifying Stagger damage increases absorption by up to 200%, it says over there, near the top of the tooltip. You really want to make sure you use this at 6 stacks, because that way you can get the maximum amount of extra absorption. That way you get more value out of this. Of course, early on when you're playing Brew, you won't have enough stagger to clear with Purified Brew in order to get the 6 stacks. But once you get into actual content like M+ or M0, at least, you will be able to stack up some stagger. So let's go and fight Crystal Maw here. He fights back. And you'll see I have this dancing in front of me. This is reminding me that I have 2 stacks and some stagger, which means go ahead and use that. So our basic thing is going to be making sure we use Keg Smash on cooldown, that we keep Fire Breath up, and Charred Passions, which comes from using Fire Breath, and that we use Blackout Kick as close to on cooldown as we can. Whatchamacallit? Blackout Kick is something that empowers. It gives us a Blackout Combo, and Blackout Combo, the talent, actually increases the amount of damage we do with Tiger Palm, and it's the most efficient global is to use a Blackout Kick or Blackout Combo with Tiger Palm. And that Blackout Kick can also do some other cool things, but primarily you want to use it for damage. You want to use it on Tiger Palm, because it'll just be the most efficient way to really deal with things, from my understanding, and my understanding is limited. Now you'll see this buff I'm tracking over here. I'm probably going to change that WeakAura. That's Shuffle. Pretty much everything you do gives you Shuffle, which is just a buff that increases the effectiveness of your stagger. And you can see I'm kind of hovering in the health department, and that is because that's kind of just gonna happen. I don't know, that's what my tanking experience has been so far, is that I kind of just hover around a lot of damage, like this amount of health. If I'm just self-sustaining, sure, I jump back up. So how do you self-sustain as a Brewmaster? Well, dealing or taking damage has a chance to spawn these little orbs. And these little orbs, what they do is they'll heal you. I just lost my 6 stack Purified Chi, so that's great. And here you see a little 3. I have 3 orbs. If I use Expel Harm now, it's going to consume those orbs and heal me extra amounts. And every 10 seconds we get this buff, which is Vivacious Vivification, which lets me instantly cast, what is it called? What's it called? Oh, Jesus. Vivify, Jesus. That I don't know, my brain is just not cooperating. This is going to be difficult to commentate, by the way, you could already probably tell. And that is another way we can heal ourselves. So I'm going to heal myself with Vivacious Vivification buff. And then now when I have 3 stacks of this, we're going to use that. It's going to grab all of these little orbs that we have on the ground, and it's going to be great. There's other, obviously, ways to reduce the amount of damage you're taking, and that is to use these cooldowns that I have down here, which is all of my defensive cooldowns. So we have Dampen Harm. Dampen Harm will reduce the damage we're taking by 20 to 50%, depending on how big the hit is. So it's very good for tank busters and stuff. not so great for trash pulls, but it's still very useful in trash pulls, don't get me wrong. You also have Fortifying Brew, which is a massive defensive, very powerful. It says 6 minutes, but reduce the cooldown of it by a few seconds every time we use Keg Smash. As you can see, there's a lot of effects to Keg Smash, so you want to use Keg Smash on cooldown as much as you can. And as far as offensive abilities are concerned, we have Explosive Keg, which is a big AoE, and you deal extra damage to them through your attacks. And you have 3 seconds of their auto attacks not doing anything, just reducing the damage they do for 3 seconds by 100%. And we also have Weapons of Order, which is also sort of kind of a defensive, but you mostly really use it for the damage. I don't really see that you're going to do all that much. Well, to be fair, it gives you 9% mastery. So the mastery is useful for your defensiveness, because I believe it increases the likelihood of you dodging, so from your elusive brawler mastery. But it's really not that big a deal. There's a reason we don't stack mastery. That is kind of the core of Brewmaster as I understand it. There's a lot more to it, obviously, but that's basically what you want to do. So again, just to recap that, you take damage, part of that damage gets turned into stagger, and then you clear as much stagger as you can using Purifying Brew. Once you've cleared a bunch of stagger with it, you can use Celestial Brew to turn Purified Chi stacks, which you get from Purifying Stagger, into a giant Absorb Shield. And then rinse, repeat, you keep doing that. And you have a bunch of other cooldowns that can help you handle other sources of damage. Like Diffuse Magic is also incredibly powerful for magic damage, so on and so forth. So that's Brewmaster. It's also very important that you know how to actually deal damage as Brewmaster, because I am, from what I've seen, they're not exactly the highest DPS tank, so they're kind of the worst in every regard. They're not great at self-sustain. They're not great at generating threat via aggro, threat via aggro. Good job, lad. That's exactly great. They're not great at generating threat via damage because they don't do much damage, so you have to pay attention to that as well. And they have to work a little bit harder in order to get the same effect as other tanks. So what a warrior can do with just shield block and ignore pain, I have to kind of make sure I do with Purifying Brew by optimizing when I use it, when I have the most amount of stagger, and so on and so forth. So there's quite a bit to it, and I think it's a lot more engaging than a warrior that just pops shield block and ignore pain and stands there and just mashes those two abilities, while I have to kind of time my things and also make sure I weave in other effects to make sure that it's as efficient as it can be. So that's the basics of Brew. Now we're going to actually move on to do the bountiful delves. So which delves are bountiful at the moment? Let us see which ones are. It looks like it's Excavation Site 9 and Waterworks. We also have the Spiral Weave, okay. And we have Takrathon Abyss. So we have one of the water ones. Luckily, we still have 2 potions of water breathing. And we have a few that are kind of okay. The Waterworks one can screw off, but I'll deal with it. Anyway, I'm just going to skip to the end of the delves. You don't really, it's really not that interesting. So I'm just going to skip to the end of them and show you what I get. We finished up the delve. We're just going to quickly grab these curios here because extra XP for a brand is never a bad thing. My brand is now level 79, just dinged. Ooh, another one over there. So one more level and this bad guy is going to be popping off even harder. It's going to be max level. It's going to be great. He's been doing a lot of my damage here with the Goblematic something grenade or whatever. So that's been quite nice. There's probably better ones out there, but this was recommended and I've been using it to great success. I don't mind. By better ones, I mean better things I could be putting on him. Keep getting this discussion every time I gear a new character. People tell me what to put on him. And it's always a different idea. Anyway, we're going to grab left Bountiful Heavy Trunk, right Bountiful Heavy Trunk. This all, of course, after grabbing first all the gold and then any curios in the room, which there are none of at the moment. Then we grab the Nemesis Strongbox. Then we would grab the Gilded thing, but there is no Gilded thing because we've exhausted that on this character. Then Bountiful Coffer, then Bountiful, or Delver's Bounty, or whatever it's called from the map. So what do we get? We got some boots with crit mastery, but we have boots with verse right now with high mastery, and I'd rather keep the verse boots. The verse boots are better. That's a funny sentence. And we got a Garbage Master's Last Resort. A very interesting trinket we will not be using because it's only adventure. And I also have these two, which I think are okay. It's like a tank trinket of some sort. And Funhouse Lens is an everyone trinket. If we get crit from it, great. If we get haste from it, meh. But I just macroed it into Weapons of Order, and I'm just rocking that. Anyway, on to the next delve. And this guy has kicked the bucket now, so we're going to go ahead and collect all of this gold that we have lying around, which Truth be told, it's not all that much gold. I guess it's a bit more when you're doing tier 11s, so that's kind of nice. We have some curios we can't ignore over here. Only one. This is the thing, the Explorer League supplies or whatever that's up there, so I don't really have to worry about that. What is this, though? Unknown. There's probably a little thingy thing somewhere around here that I'm missing. Oh, it's literally right on top of this. I was looking around the tracks at the bottom instead of looking at the top. So I have the curios after getting the gold. Then we're going to grab left bountiful heavy, right bountiful heavy, nemesis strongbox, and then the bountiful coffer, excuse me. Still early morning for me, so I'm trying to get this all done as soon as possible. We got a two-hand weapon, which we don't need because we have a crafted one, but that's cool. That's something. I know a vendor that can use this, so that's pretty nice. We have a spare toolbox. We'll put that down here. Okay, cool. So, 2 for 2 on the nothing burger, but let's see here. What I did get was some of these ruined undermine crusts, and I'm kind of okay with that. I think I also got this little pet. That looks kind of cool. I wonder if he's any good. It's very important. Anyway, we're going to leave the delve. Actually, I should have just hearthstoned from within the delve, but whatever. I guess I just have to leave the delve first. So the reason I left the delve was because, hold on, let me close all that shit. The next one I can teleport to, or like use the portal in Dornogal to get to Ashkahet, and then after that I can use the Delvobot 7001 to get to the Takrathon Abyss or whatever. So I feel like that speeds things up a little bit. Anyway, we're going to continue and hopefully get at least one of these two pieces. Would be nice, a chest or a shoulder, so I don't have to upgrade veteran pieces. But I will if I have to. It's not a huge deal. But again, would love to replace at least one of them. That way I can buy the other with the champ token, and then I can craft the bracers. I probably already talked about this earlier and I don't remember because I just woke up. Well, not just, like an hour ago is when I woke up. But yeah, anyway. Gonna go do another delve. Yay. Alrighty, that looks like another delve done. This one was extremely quick, spiral weave, and it was the one where you just have to collect the explosives and stuff, so very, very quick to complete. Love that. We also have the gold collected. Now we have mislaid curiosity. I think there's just one in here. Yeah, it looks like it's just one in here. So left bountiful, right bountiful, nemesis strongbox, and then bountiful coffer. Wait, where the hell did you come from? From like the just behind me? Okay, whatever. And the bountiful coffer. There we go. That was annoying. Okay, we got a ring with high haste crit. So I guess I'll keep it as an option in case I want more crit, but I find that unlikely. We also have been having very bad luck with the fractured sparks. Hopefully the raid will provide some. But at this point, like, who's going to invite a 634 into a normal raid at this point in the season? Oh my god, leave me alone. Can I just leave delve with this? Can't do that right now because I'm in combat probably, so we're just going to beat the shit out of this guy. Explosive keg, boom, and Bran executes him. Brutal. Left the delve, and now we're going to run to the outside just really quickly so that we can use the Delvobot, which will let us travel all the way down to the Takrathon Abyss, where we'll be using this Draenic water breathing potion. It's pretty cheap on the auction house. Easy way to take care of any oops, that's the mailbox. I don't need the mailbox right now, but thank you, game. That's a 3-hour cooldown right there. But luckily I have the auction house mount, the shill mount, as Calibara says, so I can get myself a mailbox pretty much anywhere. Alright, let's go do this thing, and then we'll be done with the delves on this character, I think. And that's the last delve boss we have to deal with on this character, I think. Grab this curio. It's never a bad idea to grab the curio for Bran. Might get a bit of EXP. Actually, maybe he's already 80, I don't know. Well, he's about to be 80 when I open the Nemesis box, I think. Very nice. Let's grab all of the gold, then the mislaid curiosity. There we go. Doesn't seem to be any other ones here, so that's very good. So left bountiful heavy trunk, right bountiful heavy trunk, Nemesis strongbox. Gave nothing but a fracture spark. We got a fracture spark, dude. That's perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. And then the bountiful coffer. We get a helmet. That is unfortunate because we have a helmet. It does have similar stats. Ours has better stats, so we'll just upgrade ours. We won't have to spend crests because we have this one, so that's nice, I guess. I just realized I probably should have upgraded some champion pieces I had so that I spend some Valor Stones because I've been overcapped on Valor Stones, but it doesn't matter. We also get the Sporific Shroom Cap. Okay, that one's nice. The blue one. That looks nice. Grab that. We can make a meme mug out of that. Easy peasy. And with that completed, we basically have no luck. We didn't get anything we needed out of these delves. But hey, Bran is he level 80? No, he's not. Oh my god. Are you kidding me? I'm missing like a spittle of EXP. I'm gonna go hunt down some kind of creature or like little curio in here. I want to make him hit 80 so I don't have to think about it anymore. Then again, you could argue that The next character, first delve I do, he's just gonna ding as soon as I loot something, but it's whatever, man. For the funsies, let's do it now. I don't know if killing things actually counts as EXP for Bran. I don't actually know that. If it does, he might just ding from this fight. I know that he can only gain, like at a certain level, he can only gain EXP from bountiful delves. Okay, that didn't make him ding, it seems. So he didn't, yeah, he didn't get any EXP from murder. Dang it, murder's my favorite way to get EXP. Let's just keep running through the delve and hopefully we can find a curio, but I've been like looking for them actively, so I see one. Oh, come on, give us EXP. Give us EXP. That is what we want. We want EXP. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Green, which does not. Oh, that doesn't give us enough. Shit, okay, let's keep looking. Let's keep looking. Very exciting. Very exciting, I know. Think we can sneak past all of these? Nope, we can't. Never mind. I guess it's back to murdering. Here I go, killing again. Now, I could have sworn that usually the little curios show up as little, like, indicators, like unknown indicators on the map. So I don't know how I missed that one. See, this one too, it's not showing up. I'm glad I'm running back for this. Will I be able to grab this without having to fight this guy? Let's just bounce him away like so. Yes, yes, we got a blue EXP thing and it made Bran ding. So now he's maxed out. We don't have to think about him anymore until probably next season where he gets more levels or something. Because I think he was maxed out at 60 last season. Then he got a 20 more. I could be wrong. I don't pay attention to delve stuff. So my apologies if I'm completely wrong. But that's awesome. He's maxed out now. I'm not even going to bother thinking about fighting those guys. I'm just going to grab these bubbles. And why am I even doing anything? Well, I've completed the delve. I grabbed everything. Why am I heading back to the end of the delve? I'm just going to go Sudoku myself over here, and then we're going to leave the delve because I'm good, bro. I don't need no more delving. Especially not delving that doesn't give me any of the loot that I really want. That's especially kind of the delve that I don't need. But we have a lot of ruined crests for that, so that's nice. We'll be able to upgrade some things later on. Or if we really want to sweat it out, we can craft certain things. Now I do have 2 fractured sparks. What I really want to craft is the wrist. The wrist is probably going to be the best choice for us right now. It is the single biggest upgrade that we can do, so we're going to go ahead and do that. Even though it says normal raid and then crafting, we're going to first do a craft because I think our item level will skyrocket by quite a few if we craft that, whatchamacallit, if we craft that weapon. There's a turn in here for some kedge, so let's do that. That's what I've been calling it, kedge, this thing. Also get 280 gold, which does not hurt at all. That'll cover some of the repair bill. There's another turn in over there. Let's just go quickly do that. It's probably from the spiral weave that I didn't turn in. Yeah, it is. Hello, I have come to collect the gold I lost from killing my character. And I don't want to say the other sentence. Sudokuing myself. Because apparently YouTube really listens for that. So I need to be careful when I say that. And back to Dornogal it goes. Now let's see if there's any crafters available to craft this thing for me. Glyph etched vambraces. You could say that I could get the extra item levels from 658 to 661 by grabbing the, spending the 15 crests here. I feel like that's a bit of a waste. These ruined undermine crests I got for free, and I think for this character I'm really not I'm going to try to avoid crafting with ruined crests if I can, depending on how my gear ends up looking when we're done with all this, because it feels like a bit of a waste of gold. I have plenty of gold on this character, as you can see. Like I can cover the cost. It's not a big deal, but I just like to avoid it if I can, because I think it's more realistic than somebody immediately spending a bazillion gold. Now bracers here makes a lot of sense because I'm going to get over 100 item levels. I'm going to get 104 item levels from crafting this, even at this shit level, but that's not even the level I'm going to be crafting it at. I'm going to be crafting it at higher. It also makes sense because I'll be empowering my weapon embellishment. Now, Adrenal Surge Clasp is actually the Surge Clasp? Whatever the hell it's called. Adrenal Surge thing. That one is recommended for the belt, for embellishments, and then a writhing band to empower it. But we'll be getting the belt in 6.1.7. 6.1.7? 11.1.7 is what I wanted to say. So there's no point in getting this or in crafting a embellished belt. I'll just be getting that next reset. So it's whatever. So that's my decision-making process here. So this will be 658 up from 528. It is a 130 item level upgrade. And that is kind of stupid. So let's look for one of these bad boys. And let's see if there's any crafters present. It looks like Megaroth can handle it. So big shout out to Megaroth. Send them your leatherworking orders on Alliance side of Terran Mill. Oh my god, I almost crafted the mail armor. Thank for that pop-up. You were probably screaming at me to not do that. I almost did this on stream as well. Holy shit. I'm just going to ask Megaroth if he can do rune banded armbands because it's leather versus mail, so this is a lot more important. How did I not notice that? I don't know, but holy shit. That is stupid as hell by me. I think on the stream I also explained that I had been thinking about my previous male characters, the Shaman and the Devastation Evoker, those two, because I had played a male character for like two challenges in a row. So I just went for that, and holy shit, I am very happy that I didn't just send that. That last little pop-up asking me if I'm sure I want to do that, that saved my butt. All right, there we go. War Within Epic has been achieved, and we bumped ourselves up to 642. Let's look at that again. From 634 to 642. That is a stupid item level from that. So now I feel much more comfortable about getting invited into a normal raid, which is awesome. In the normal raid, we're looking to get either a shoulder or a chest piece or any token. Any token will be good right now, except for maybe pants, because I kind of don't want to terrify my pants because they got perfect stats. Anyway, thank you again, Megaroth, for being a Chad, as they say, and crafting things for us. Much appreciated. Let's vendor this crap, and I'm gonna go ahead into a whatchamacallit, normal raid as a tank, which I haven't done in a while, but the tanking bit is pretty freaking easy. All right, I did some inventory cleaning. We got some enchants for later when we have all the gears that we want to have. So these are all the enchants that we'll be using. We have this backup gear. I forgot to store this in the bank. I put some other things in the bank, but I forgot to put the Draenic water breathing potion in the bank. We're gonna put it over here. And then when we get a wave scrambler, we'll put it over there as well. I've enchanted my bracers, and Circe's circlet is also something I want to enchant. Did I enchant the wrong ring, or did I just not enchant a ring? Am I stupid? Thought I bought 2 ring enchants. Oh, I just have 2 ring enchants here, like an idiot. Okay, that explains it. Let's enchant Circe's circlet. We'll be holding on to this for a good long while, I think. Not that it's great. I guess a crit verse ring would quickly replace that, but we'll see. Need to check some guides on that front. Not a big deal. So we have everything ready for when we do have the gear we want, when we have it finalized. For now, we want to do the raids. So let's go over to the pre-made group finder. Let's go to raids in the War Within, find a group. We're going to enable the difficulty filter on pre-made group filters, and we're going to set it to normal. We're going to make it 0 to 0 raid bosses defeated. And there are no such groups currently active, and I really don't want to host my own group, dude. Oh, that would suck. Fresh run 1 heal. I can't heal, but I can tank. And this seems to be a 214 run, so let's see if we can apply for the 2414 run. 2414 meaning 2 tanks, 4 healers, and 14 DPS for normal. Let's go. We got the invite. Perfect. Okay, I was worried I was gonna have to host my own group because I really do want to do the normal raid. It's a bunch of carved quests, which we will soon be turning into ruined crests, and also we'll be using some of those to upgrade items to the point where we can turn carved crests into ruined crests. And also, of course, we get champion gear from it, so it's pretty good. We still have 2 pieces that are veterans, so the shoulder and the chest piece, which I would very much like to replace with at least one of them. If I replace with a champion gear, with a champion piece, I'll be super happy about it. The raid is set currently to heroics. I'm just not going to walk in there just yet. I'm going to wait a little second. I'm going to say raid is set to heroic. Can you change it, please? Because it's currently set to heroic. I don't want to walk in. And we have a fellow brewmaster monk. Interesting. Raid lead is not paying any attention to raid chat, but that's fine. We're almost done with the entire list. Oh my god, Illidan, why are you yelling at me? Stop yelling at me. But yeah, we almost have the full list completed here. The only things left is normal raid, crafting, and spending champ tokens. Now, if I don't get any luck with the fractured sparks in the normal raid, I'm not going to be crafting. Hopefully we get a few. There's 8 bosses. Surely I can get a couple of them to craft at least one more piece, like a cloak or something. So that's something we can consider. Not particularly important. I can consider it done already because we've crafted a weapon and a wrist. So we have the double embellishment going, which is nice. And I can also spend the Nightfall champ token in case I don't get anything useful from the raid. Raid difficulty set to normal. Let's walk in now. Anyway, after much yappage, it is now time for us to actually do the normal raid. And the way I'm going to do it is through editing magic. Alrighty, we're done with the raid. magically quick through the power of editing. We have received one item, and that is a tier chest piece. This thing. We got the token, and we won that roll, and nothing else in the raid. I think there was only one other item that I even rolled for need, and I didn't get it, obviously. So that's how that raid went for us loot-wise. But I'm very happy with the chest piece. That's one piece I don't have to tierify. It even has a bit of crit on it. Bunch of haste, which I don't like, but hey, you gotta play the cards you're dealt. So now we can go into the tierifying process. But actually, no, we can't. Never mind. Hold on. It says here, normal raid, then crafting, then spending Nightfall champ tokens. Now, we got another Fractured Spark of Fortunes from the raid, which is very nice. But before we even we got a full spark and another half spark. That's what I'm trying to say. So we got 3 half sparks. Whatever. You get the idea. Now, what I could do to really min-max this and get the most item level out of the way as possible, or the most item level as early as possible, would be to go do LFR as well and get more Fractured Sparks from that. But I also like to have fun, so I'm not going to go into LFR. Screw LFR, I'm good. What we have is the Ultra Prime Deluxe Turbo Boost Powerhouse Challenges, which we could use to get ourselves a hero trinket. And both the trinkets that I really want to use are from... Where the hell am I going? Both the trinkets I really want to use are from M+. I want the Pacemaker, and I want the trinket from the other boss there, the Mudface guy. That would be really nice. But if I buy them now, they're going to be hero tier. I'd much rather buy them at myth tier. But at the same time, I have a sneaking suspicion this will not be my favorite tank. So far, it's been fine. But I have a sneaking suspicion that in the hierarchies, it may not be my favorite tank. So I may just opt to bite the bullet and not get the optimal thing, which would be to buy once I've done all the 12s and get the myth piece. I may just opt to buy a piece of gear at hero instead from the Puzzling Cartel chips. But I don't have to make that decision right this instant. Right now, what I have to do is I have to get myself some shoulders from the head armor. But it's not just head pieces. There's also other pieces of armor, like the shoulders that I'm going to buy now. And they have Haste Mastery, which is hot garbage. But we're going to tierify it, so I guess it doesn't matter. So we definitely tierify this, unless I guess the tier piece is kind of the same. Honestly, I want to keep these pants, so I'm going to tierify everything else. And what happens, happens. I think it's fine. So that is our last champ piece. We are now full champion gear. We have no veteran pieces. We have 2 crafted pieces, and we're going to get another crafted piece. But before we do anything, I'm going to go ahead and teleport back to Dornogal. Actually, no, I'm not, because my Hearthstone's on cooldown, so that's great. But through the magic of editing, our Hearthstone is off cooldown. Woulda thunk it. Next order of business is to go ahead and tierify the pieces that we want. I'm just going to roll our way... Oh, never mind. We're going to roll our way over here. Like I said, we want to keep the pants because they got perfect stats, so we're going to start tierifying these other pieces. Haste verse, at least we get some verse. Could be worse, I guess. The helmet has Haste Mastery, absolute dog shit. Unfortunate, but what can you do about it? I'm just curious, what do pants give us? Crit. Of course I get crit versus pants when that's what you get from the tierify as well. I mean, come on, that's just stupid. Whatever, we'll get hero pants and we'll tierify those at some point, and that'll do fine. So let's switch back to these. These give crit haste. At least we get some good crit out of the shoulders. I have a feeling that the helmet would be an item that we want to get some other source from, maybe even craft it, I don't know, because we just want to stack crit verse. That gives us the 4 set. Now let's see what the 4 set actually does. So the 2 set, what does it do? It says each time you take damage, you have a chance to activate Luck of the Draw, causing you to cast Fortifying Brew for 6 seconds. Your damage done is increased by 15% for 8 seconds after Luck of the Draw activates. So when it activates, I get 8 seconds of damage increase, but only 6 seconds of Fortifying Brew. Okay. When you gain Luck of the Draw, your next 2 casts of Blackout Kick deal 250% increased damage and incur a 2-second reduced cooldown. Okay, so I can machine gun Blackout Kicks. So when I get this buff, what I want to do is I want to make this weak aura glow. We'll have that happen, because I think that's going to be pretty important. As cool as this helmet is, zooming in on it, on the face is way too wide and looks super goofy. So what we're going to go ahead and do is avoid the Super Saiyan set for now. If we were a cooler looking race, like a lot of them, other than Pandaren, we'd be rocking the tier set probably. All right, now let's turn this in, and I think I'm just gonna bite the bullet and go for the hero piece. I don't know if I should go for Pacemaker or if I should get the survivability trinket. I'm thinking Pacemaker because I have a used trinket that is hero, so I may as well get the hero upgrade. Oh, this is another veteran piece. I didn't even realize that. Well, it's a good thing that I just saw that. So I'm definitely going to go for a hero tier trinket from these. Again, this is just to expedite the gearing process, less so to optimize it. Optimally, I would be grinding hero trinkets out in the 6+ keys, but for right now, I just want to get something. So I'm going to go ahead and get the Pacemaker. There we go. That is our passive trinket. We're just going to get some value out of that because it gives us crit, which is great for us as a Brewmaster. Wonderful. That brings us to 644. We've taken care of weathered because we've gotten rid of the veteran pieces. So now we can upgrade our weathered crests into carved crests, which is what we're going to do. But before we even do that, we're going to talk to Vaskarn, and we're going to go ahead and upgrade some items. These pants I certainly want to keep, so I'm just going to upgrade them to 4 out of 8. I can upgrade everything to 4 out of 8, but I'm just going to do this quest real quick. So the reason we want to upgrade everything to 4 out of 8 is because at that point we will get Carved of the Undermine, which will allow us to upgrade our carved crests into, what are they called? Runed crests, and we want a bunch of runed crests, so that works out for us. And we have to do this quest where we turn things into stuff. Very good. That'll give us more stuff in return. Beautiful. More Valor Stones for later, which we will need most likely. And now we've done all those quests. So now we're going to upgrade everything to 4 out of 5 champion, or the equivalent of 4 veteran. But we have no veteran pieces, so we don't have to worry about that. So let's upgrade everything real quick. That's 5, not 4. Don't want to use Rune Crests on that. Only need to do 1 upgrade here because it's already 3 out of 8. Now there could be some more optimization here where I choose which pieces I'm going to craft. But for right now, I just want Rune Crests to be unlocked. So I'm just going to get that done. And that gives us Carved of the Undermine, which is wonderful because now I can go over here and let's see, we have 256 weathered crests, which we can turn into carved crests. I think I can buy like what, 5? Yes, it looks like 5 of these. Wonderful. Let's open up all of those to get all these carved crests that we can. And now that we've opened all of those, we know how many carved crests we have, and we can get 9 packs of these that give us 15 rune crests each, which I think is absolutely amazing. So that is how many we are able to get through this gearing process, which gives us a lot of crests and valor stones from having maxed out renowns on all of the renowns that you can have right now in the War Within. So that is wonderful. And of course, doing all of these different activities also gives a bunch of weathered and carved crests, which, as you can see, we put to good use to get ourselves a bunch of rune crests and give us a really big head start. Now, some of the most efficient upgrades that we can do is going to be just upgrading these with rune crests. Why? Because they're already hero. So we can get a lot of item levels and stats out of that by upgrading them to 4 out of 8, which will use rune crests, and that is wonderful. We have no other hero pieces because this was our hero piece from the Delves, where we used the Wave Scrambler, and this is our hero piece from spending cartel chips. So with that all done, we're at 649, but we're not completely done just yet. So we have another spark here. And I have a bunch of runed Undermine crests, 240 to be exact. So what I'm thinking is I could get myself a better necklace than this. I could get a crit verse necklace instead of a crit haste one, because I don't really want haste. I don't really care about haste. So we can drop 3.1k haste and get about a bit more than that versatility. And I think that is going to be the best bet for us. We're even going to... do I spend the extra 15? I feel like spending the extra 15 crests is just not worth it. So we're just going to get an enchanted runed Undermine crest. And upgrading an item would give us 3 item levels. And upgrading an item for us costs only 10 crests. Why? Because we have the discount from another character having a higher item level piece equipped. So now I don't feel like getting this is actually worth it. You could argue that this isn't actually worth it, but I do want to craft a necklace either way. So we're going to go ahead and track what we need to buy in order to craft that necklace. By the way, if you're worried about optimizing gold use while gearing a character, do not craft with runed crests unless it's like a weapon right as you start the character. That I feel is worth it. But other than that, it's kind of really not worth crafting with runed crests. I'm doing it here because I like to take care of the bulk of the gearing process before I get started with M+. That way, as I do the series, I don't have to grind out gear. I just have to play the game, and that feels much, much better. So we have that tracked. Let's go ahead and buy the materials. You can click on the tracked quest to see what you need to buy. So we need 1 blasphemite, 8 of these bad boys, 20 of these bad boys, and we don't need any embellishment or anything, and we already have the stat thing bought, so I don't have to worry about that. Oh, and we got more of these from the mail from doing the different achievements, which is wonderful. Then we have the spark, we have the stats, we have the enchanted thing. We don't have this, we don't have to worry about that. This is for embellishments. I don't need embellishments. I already have 2 of them. So now we just need to find an actual crafter that will make this for us. So we typed out looking for and linked the item. Dear One can craft it for us. Shout out Dear One. We're going to give them 3,000 gold because that's usually just the fee I give. And there we go. Wonderful. We have that crafted. Let me just get rid of these pieces of mail here really quick because I want to. And there we go. We have a crafted necklace now with versatility, and that makes me a lot happier than having the haste. So now that puts our versatility at 15k, our crit at 8k. We could get a bit more crit. I would be quite happy with a bit more crit, but oh well. They say, bingo, thanks for your generous tip, sir. Have a nice weekend. You too. There we go. I like that. That's nice. You get a tip for that. Actually, I already sent the tip, but whatever. Anyway, we've kind of semi-committed to this ring. It gives us a lot of mastery. Ideally, I would craft a ring to give me crit verse because we love crit verse so much that crafting jewelry makes a lot of sense because you want the same amount of both. Ideally, you want more verse, but you can't do that with crafted jewelry. So yeah, because you can't allocate the full budget of an item to 1 stat. At least not yet. Maybe Blizzard changes that at some point. Who knows? But we have enchants, and I just realized I forgot to buy 1 enchant, and that is Defender's March. There we go. The last enchant we are going to need for now. So let's put that on the boots. Let's enchant our other ring. Even though I want a crafted one, I'll just buy a new enchant. It's not a big deal. Enchant the chest, enchant this cloak, and we're going to need a new socket on here. Let's quickly just put on some gems here. Boom, boom. And we're going to need to buy another magnificent jeweler setting. Let's just link that, buy 1 more, because we have a ring that isn't crafted. I was hoping that I would only need 2, because if I craft a ring at 5-star quality, it automatically has a socket, but that is not the case here, so c'est la vie. Okay, and we have an extra, so the primary stat gem is in our belt because we had a belt socket proc from wherever we got this from. I'm assuming this is from Delve's Treasure Seeker Sash. Sounds like a Delve item. And of course the helmet enchant, which is the corruption. And now we are fully enchanted because I already enchanted my wrist and my weapon before this when I crafted them because I knew I was keeping them. And there we go. There we have it. 650 item level in basically 2 days, thanks to this little formula that we have here. I didn't do many M0 runs. I could get a lot more value out of M0 runs. I did only 2 because I was slow with things and I didn't get a chance to really do it on stream. So it felt really bad. But maybe in the future I cut down on some of these weekly quests because, but then I lose crests later. I don't know. It's a choice for sure. But one thing we still have left in our repertoire is we could potentially spend some of these ruined crests. Now, I'm debating whether or not I want to do that. I kind of don't want to do that because, okay, well, here's the deal. I'm gonna spend some ruined crests just to be able to buy, what is this? 1 more ruined, enchanted ruined crest, and then that we will use to craft once we get another fractured spark, and we'll craft ourselves a ring, which I really, really want because there's a lot of mastery here that I do not want to have. I'd rather have crit along with this verse. So that is my sacrifice. The rest of this ruined budget that we have, I'm going to spend on upgrading the pieces that we already have. So pants, for sure, they have perfect stats. We're just going to upgrade those right now with 40 ruined crests. You could argue, and I did argue in a previous series, that upgrading items that are champion past 4 out of 8 champion is kind of a waste, because what you can do is you can get to 7 out of 8 champion just from looting items in a +10 key, or at least 5 out of 8 champion by looting +6 keys, where at the end of the dungeon you get 649 gear, which is 1 out of 8 hero. So I kind of wasted some crests here on these pants, but I don't really mind. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up all of these for a bunch of Valor Stones, and we're going to go ahead and spend some more ruined crests unoptimally, I repeat. And the helmet is the next best place to get a bunch of stats. We're going to upgrade that as well. And then I guess shoulders would be probably my best bet. Let's do shoulders. Why not? Actually, I'm out of Valor Stones, it looks like, again. So now I'm going to just kind of calm the hell down. I could transfer Valor Stones because that's doable now from some other character that has like 2,000, like Tabisa or whatever. Tabisa doesn't need it anymore, really, kind of decked out. But for now, I feel like this is fine. 653 item level. I'm itching. I'm itching to hit 60. To hit 654. You know what, Tabisa, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to relieve you of those Valor Stones there. There we go. And we're gonna go ahead and spend some more upgrades here. Hopefully that brings us to 654. It actually does not, and now I feel really annoyed. I feel really, really annoyed. I can only spend Gilded Crests, but I am not spending Gilded Crests. I want to use them for crafting, for our weapon and such, for more stats. But let's say we're basically 654 item level at this point, and leave it at that. Guys, this is as good as it gets for gearing. Within 2 days, we have gone from 527 item level to 653 item level. There we go. Almost 654. That is insane. That was done in basically since I hit 80. I've been doing weak auras and gearing. So let's take a look at Slash Played. I've played 1 day, 2 hours, 18 minutes, and 34 seconds. And we've spent 14 hours, so 2 half days, let's say, gearing up to the point of 653. I feel like that's pretty efficient. I feel like that's pretty fast. And now we're ready to get into an actual M+ run. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and hide this weak aura. I don't need it. We're going to get rid of it. And now I'm debating whether I push up my own key or if I just go do a +6 or maybe even a +7 with the item level I have. I don't know. I think I'm better off running a 6, and then we can run some 6s on the stream later. So let's do that. I'm going to try and find a +6 key for us to run. Hopefully somebody is desperate enough for a tank to invite me. So I don't have to push up my own key. I am down to do just about anything. I would especially like to do Cinderbrew Meadery. This group looks like they might need a tank, so let's see if they're desperate enough to invite me. The reason I want to do Cinderbrew Meadery is because I want to try a giant ass pull at the start and see how well I can survive, at the expense of this group maybe wanting to kick me afterwards if I fail. So let's see if we can get invited.
A few moments later.
I have been hard declined from that group, so I don't think I'm getting into that because they're like, ew, this person spams delves and gets gear. So I'm just gonna look for 6-6 in pretty much any key, and hopefully we get into something interesting. And here we go with a +6 Darklane Cleft. The group you can see in the bottom right corner of the screen. We're gonna go ahead and gather up all of these little laborers. I'm not gonna spend any keg smashers, maybe on these first ones because people might start hitting them. For the most part, I'm not really gonna worry about it too much. We're going to fire breath these, then we're gonna roll over here. We're going to roll into these guys so I can kick one, spin a bit on these, and drop more fire breaths. Now, time to actually use a defensive. We're going to try and hit as many things as we can with stuff. What's it called? Explosive keg. That's it. And now we just focus on surviving. Okay, we have 6 stacks of purified chi, so we're going to go ahead and utilize that. We have fire, what's it called? Purifying brew available, so we can use that. We're going to taunt this wick lighter, make him come over to us. We're going to stun everything. I don't have my knockback available right now, so I can't stop these from flying all over the place. Well, what I can do is line aside that wick lighter, and hopefully he comes over to me eventually, as well as this mole herd. We have some kicks going. It looks like this pathing from the mole herd might actually pull things, but it looks like we're okay. We're able to take care of all of it. Okay, we lusted for that pull, which works out, I think. We're going to drag these guys out. They're going to get slammed into the wall, but I don't think it's a big issue. We have 5 stacks of purifying brew. That's kind of okay. I'm going to use that for celestial brew. And here we go. If you're a little confused about what I'm talking about with the brews and the keg smashes and the whatnots, what you should do is go to the beginning of the video with the chapters and take a look at how Brewmaster works. So I'm purifying, right, I forgot about these little shits. I would love it if we could just kill this thing. There we go. And now we have this pull to deal with, which is, I think, fine. We kicked the wick lighter to make him group, and now it's up to the rest of the group to keep these guys from killing us with the casts. We're going to drop a Ring of Peace on the ceiling, apparently. Thank you, game. I'm stuck. Stepbrother, please help me. Okay, this is a shit show immediately because we had the mobs spread out because for some reason the game wants me to drop my Ring of Peace on the ceiling rather than where I actually want it. So that's great. Let's use Weapons of Order, Explosive Keg, Breathe Fire on these new guys. And we're going to drop one thing over here. Oh, somebody just walked into these. You had no reason to be there. Okay, we got a wick lighter pulling more mobs over there. This is officially a shit show because we have no way to stop these guys flying away. We're going to Celestial Brew at 6 stacks. We're going to self-heal as much as we can, but we've got too many laborers on us and we've got more of these guys coming in, so this is just a reset. Not intentional. I'm going to say not intentional. Okay, we've reset it, looks like, and let's go again. We're gonna grab this guy again and drag him into the mole herd here, and we're gonna keep the mole herds on this side of, or rather keep this guy so that he knocks him in that direction. That is okay. Knocking him in the other direction, not so much. We have a ring of peace down so we can make them fly this way. That's not what I wanted at all. That's great. I misplayed that as well. Doing great with my first run. It looks like we didn't actually pull the other overseer, so that kind of works out. Would really help if somebody somehow was able to help me a little bit with the grouping, like a druid with a yoink back, but I don't have a druid. I have 2 evokers that don't know how to knock up in time, which is understandable. We have a mage that could freeze them, but that is also not an option right now, so we're just gonna go ahead and pull even more here. Screw it, we're gonna pull even more here. What I want to do is I want to skip the pack next to, what's it called? Bring a piece here in case they try to fly that way. No chance. This guy is getting pulled by the mage. How, I do not know. I wouldn't be able to tell you. It's been interrupted, so I can drag it around a little bit to maybe make them group. I'm focusing on grouping more than on using my Purifying Brew, which is probably stressing out my healer, but it's whatever. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to ride my bicycle. I want to ride my bike. I want to skip the pack in front of the Candle King. Ah, this is such a shit show. This is such a shit show. I try to use Ring of Peace to make these pulls less hectic, and then I fail because the ceiling is there and has these little pieces of shit that you can apparently place your thing on and fail your fucking pull, but whatever. Let's keep going and do this properly now. So I'm gonna try and potentially position this so that the guy doesn't have to charge far if it charges at anyone. Well, when it charges at someone. And also what I'm going to do is I'm gonna try and keep him on top of the cart so that people notice the cart, because sometimes people don't notice the cart because they're looking at other things. We're gonna touch it off the cart. We're gonna give a Ring of Peace here just to keep them off the mage. It looks like they're off the mage anyway, so it kind of works out. Mage decided, I'm not moving. I'm just gonna get hit by all of these guys. Screw it. The Reckless Charge goes to Narnia. That's unfortunate, but what can you do? The rocks will take care of a bunch of these. I'm going to spin on them a little bit just because why not? And then focus back on old Waxbeard. Not much tank damage happening here. He does do a tank buster, but it is not exactly concerning considering I'm a Brewmaster, so stagger helps a lot with that. We're going to heal this person. We don't have Ring of Peace to keep these mobs off of our guy, but he also refuses to move, or our healer refuses to heal. I don't know which of the two was the issue, but definitely one of them. We have a Paladin that can battle res, so we're going to go ahead and do that. We don't have Touch of Death for the Affix, so we're gonna have to just beat the shit out of it. Hopefully people do switch it. They seem to be, so that is good. I don't know where I need to go for the next minecart just yet, so that's a thing. Luring Candle Flame is out. It's on the mage again. The mage is here. We're gonna put the Ring of Peace around the mage. Mage gets hit by the cart. Can't do much about that, but what we can do is kill the boss and move on from this. I'm going to res the mage because the mage otherwise spawns at the entrance, so I'm just casting the res because nobody else seems to want to do so. There you go, mage. Have fun with that. I have rolls, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use them here, and then I'm going to use movement speed the group here. We're going to do a big pull. Big pull happening here because we want a lot of percent. We want a lot of percent. We have bouncy and we have the cloak that reduces all damage taken. We're going to use movement speed here, keep dropping these, and I think I'm not going to pull the extra candle. I think I'm going to pull it eventually, but I'm not going to pull it right now. All right, let's focus on living now. We use a defensive. Kick this to reduce the fire damage taken from the big explosion thing that this thing casts. And I think we're now pretty stable. We have a good source of brews coming in. We purify a bunch of stagger, gives us 6 stacks. We use this. We purify more stagger because we can. Very good. Very good. I feel that was a good pull. And we have a Touch of Death available here potentially for this thing. Sometimes I just can't use Touch of Death and it really annoys me, but it's no big deal. Now we want to pull, I'm just going to ping assist here. We want to pull the rest of this. So I'm going to kick this guy so we can move him over immediately. And when he starts casting, I'm going to bounce him. Then I'm going to roll over there or just use this and keg smash on top of them. Okay, we're focusing on this guy. That's what we really want to focus on. We'll put another keg smash into the candle to focus that. Put a focus target on the guy with the thingy and the stuff that cast this. We're going to interrupt that. And I feel like this is another good, decent pull. We're going to put an off heal into our friend here. Use a purifying brew right as we run out of stagger for 3 stacks of purified chi, but it's no big deal. I don't think I need the purified chi here. I'm getting a good bit of healing. Gotta avoid those bonks. Very nice. Very nice indeed. Okay, pretty happy with my grouping so far. We're going to be doing that skip on a Candle King. Hopefully everyone's able to do it. If not, we do have 2 people that have evokers, which means they can both rescue the people that can't do it, and evokers can do it easily, which is another nice thing. Zap this guy, use a defensive while I'm gathering. Keg smash this guy, another fire breath into these. I'm gonna drop the thingy with the stuff, try to use my purifying brew here. Okay, a lot to do here just to make this pull happen, but we did make it happen. We have 7 stacks of the thing, so the next AoE is gonna really hurt. The healer really needs to get our HP up quite a bit here. Looking rough, but we managed to live. Okay, I should have stunned them when they were casting a bunch of things, but then again, I'm not the only person in this group, so maybe they can do some shit too. But oh well. At least we have people blasting the DPS, so I think we're going to be okay for the rest of this plus 6. All right, commentary with this class is a little bit of a pain in the ass. Luckily, I'm a tank, so this boss fight is basically not my issue. There is nothing I can do other than stand in melee and live. That's the only things I can do as a tank in this fight. This is a purely mechanic-based fight where the healer has to heal us up to full after we get these dots. And okay, we're extinguishing 2 candles, and the DPS has to do the correct mechanics. Everything else, completely not my issue. We seem to be saving Bloodlust for the Candle King. I'm okay with this, so that the healer has an easier time healing us. I think that's okay. We're going to use a Celestial Brew here, because why not? Kindling Inferno goes out. People need to move out of those zones. Very good. Everyone does. We get 2 stacks of this nonsense. We're going to taunt this thing and Touch of Death it. Get rid of it pretty much immediately. Dowsing Breath goes out. Big hit on the whole group. Everyone's okay. We're going to go ahead and just give them big heals. Wicker Light Barrage comes in, or Wicker Lighter Barrage. Hopefully we get more than just these 2 candles. Okay, Doko, you need to light the candles, but we get 3 candles. That's enough for us to live, I think, most likely. We'll find out. We have Extinguishing Gusts going out. I'm going to send mine down. Or actually, I don't have one on the tank. Seems like we survived that. And then I'm just going to try and help out with some off heals here. And we have the stack over here. That's good. Make sure that we're in melee range, because I think that's... well, there's no other melee. Actually, there's a red paladin. I don't know why he's standing all the way over there. But I guess he can reach with Judgment, so that's good enough. That explains why I'm beating them in DPS, at least. Okay, we're going to zap this and just wait here. Please just wait here. Wait for them to group up. Don't walk any further. We're good. We don't need to line of sight them. We just need them to come to this range so that they can, you know, do their thing. There we go. That's good enough. We're going to stun them all here, and I'm going to go ahead and kick this guy when I can, which is at some point soon. He's just been stunned like 15 times in a row. We're doing knockbacks of some sort. Was that Blast Wave? I do not know what that was. No, it was knockback from the Evoker. And we have the Emissary, something to beat down on, and that's good. Now, the big candle in here, if you hit that before you hit anything else, it'll stay alive, and that's not good. We don't want that. Now, hopefully people know that we can skip this, and they know how to skip it. I have a bit of trouble doing it as well, but what I can do is, I can give myself Tiger's Lust. Waiting for everyone to get through. The Evoker should have an easy time doing it. The Mage is trying to invis past them. That works as well. Okay. Gonna give myself movement speed, jump up like this. And then one of the Evokers can rescue our friend, and that works just fine. We're going to taunt the Candle King here for aggro and to make him move faster towards us. We have Bloodlust coming up here immediately. What we want to do, ideally, is keep ourselves as stacked as possible. What I also want to have happen is that people kick this freaking fear and we don't get wiped by it. Because that fear goes out, a lot of shit goes down very, very quickly. Okay, Paladin takes care of the fear kick. I'm moving away immediately. The Paladin doesn't have a circle, so he can follow us. Everyone else should be moving closer to us, not standing where they are, moving closer to us. Why? Because these things are going to spawn in, and the more spread out we are, the more spread out they are. And when they're spread out, it's harder to destroy multiple of them with the circles. Good call on breaking that one. That one can't be hit at the same time as any of the other ones. I just wasted my kick, so hopefully the Paladin kicks the next one. We seem to be taking care of most of them. Our Paladin is not willing to sacrifice their uptime doing tank damage to go and to clear those. So we're going to see how it works out. We're going to Touch of Death this thing. That should make it very easy for our friends to kill. The pickaxe goes out there. Our friend is just stunned in the gunk, but kind of a rough one. They were really trying to destroy that one, but you can't really get behind it because it's up against the wall. Bit of a shit show here. We could have destroyed 3 of these instead of 2 of them there. I don't know what to do here, really. We have a CR. Paladin should use the CR. Very much a shit show, but we're close to killing the boss at this point. Our top DPS is still top DPS after being dead for half of the fight, so that is an interesting situation to be in. We're going to try and help out with the off heals here. Every 10 seconds, we can send out heals-ish. It depends on how quickly you use them. 2 seconds, 1 second until I can heal again. Boss is dead and we're good. We can move on. A good skip overall. I feel like it was good value. Fighting these guys takes forever. We're just going to get started so I can start grouping these guys. Well, not grouping, but like just hitting them so I don't lose aggro. And then there's Evoker aggro, so that's a bit of a thing to consider. This guy we're going to taunt to make him move over quicker. Paladin felt the need to judgment it to group it up. That's good. It was a good call. It just helps me because for some reason they're not linked, so not hitting that one guy becomes a pain in the ass for the whole group. I'm not going to do any fancy shit where I run ahead because I don't feel like the group is going to respond well to it. So I'm just going to keep this moving for as long as we can, and we're going this side, so I'm going to try and zap and zap, and let's actually hit these guys so I have aggro and use some defensive. Zap here, zap here, zap here. Healer's keeping me alive while I do all this bullshit. And now when all these die, we're going to keep them off the creeper, so when they die there's no corpses under the creeper. We do that by using the AoE knockback. I need to actually purify some stacks of this. We're going to kick this as well because that cast actually does a lot of damage. And that's the creeper dead. I'm going to dispel myself with the fuse magic, which I probably should have saved for the next pull, but it's whatever. And we're going to purify. Never mind. I was going to say we're going to get rid of our stagger by touching that thing. We do need some candles. We get some candles. Very good. We're going to be at full above 90% here for a little while, which will let me group things, because while it's above 90%, it actually does a very good job of it lets me keep the cart moving. Sorry, I'm just trying really hard not to die here, so I might be a little flustered in saying random shit. 11 stacks on these guys, that actually really hurts. I'm gonna have to run out and grab a candle and hope I live. There we go. So that I can move further away from the cart and get away from the corpses, because the corpses are what buffs these guys. We're gonna use Purifying Brew, Celestial Brew, and that should be enough to keep me alive through the rest of this. I could really use a Dispel at 9 stacks here, but could really use that Dispel, but we're just going to heal through it. It's all right. Okay. So what I was saying about the 90% on the cart, if it's at 90% and it's moving, it'll keep moving until it drops below 90% and has mobs on top of it. So one way to keep the mob moving, or keep the thing moving, is to just keep feeding it candles, and as long as it remains above 90%, it'll keep moving even if there's mobs on top of it. But if it drops to, let's say, 89%, it'll stop, and if you bring it above 90, it won't start moving again until you clear all the mobs on top of it. But that's easier said than done. Getting all of those things on the side is a bit annoying, so sometimes you have to run into the darkness. The best thing to do when you're running into the darkness to grab mobs is to grab a candle, because it gives you a light source for yourself and you can just run ahead without the cart being there. But again, unless this is, unless the group knows that you're doing that as the tank, you should probably avoid doing it. In Pog runs, unless I communicate it to them at the end or at the beginning of the dungeon, I'm probably not going to be doing it like just winging it. I'm probably just going to follow the cart and pull it that way, because your timer in this dungeon is more than generous if you do the big pulls at the start. Now we need quite a bit of percent here. I'm not worried about that. There is 11% in the last room. We're going to have to pull most of the stuff in there, but I still feel like it's good. All right, we drop our thingy. We can't actually Transcendence. That's interesting. I get too far away from it, so I can't Transcendence to avoid getting stunned here. But that's all right. We're going to get started on the grouping here. We're going to spin here for a second until we group some mobs. Then we're going to Keg Smash and Fire Breath them. Keg Smash again here. Purify, Celestial Brew. Exploding Keg. Taunt these guys. Hopefully someone brings them over. I really, really, really need some help here. Okay. I got the lay on hands. That's good. These guys are kicking my ass and I'm not getting the spell. The only spells I've gotten was from myself. Please, healer, press the spell button. Oh, there we go. They did. Holy shit. Okay. Purifying Brew. I'm going to have to kite them. I have to kite them because otherwise I'm just going to die. I'm line of sighting my healer, but it's not like he's fucking healing me much. So there we go. We kited them for a bit. Now we have some ways to kill them. We still need to pull more, but I was not comfortable pulling more here because, again, I'm not getting the spell on cooldown, which is kind of what I need. Just these 2 creepers should be enough for us to finish this off. I could have pulled the one in the back and one here. The one in the back is unique in a way. If it's sleeping, it won't actually apply stacks to you, so that's really nice.
because the stacks are kind of what kills you. Now I gotta keep these dickheads away from the corpses, otherwise they get a giant buff. So I'm moving things out of the orb and out of the blizzard, and it's really annoying, but I'd rather live, you know. What's even more annoying is your tank dying mid-pull because he can't position things as he needs to. Could I have done it cleaner? Absolutely. Ooh, but can I do it while I'm commentating? Probably not, because I'm still getting used to actually playing this spec. You'll notice my DPS is not great. That's because brew DPS kind of sucks. But also, all right, let's taunt him, move this forward a little bit. Taunt wears off. We're going to get into actual combat and hit him now. Yeah, I feel like with the candle positioned here, it feels a lot better for the group. Hedgegosa needs to move away a little bit, just a little bit. Maybe grab that candle. That's good. We'll give them a heal. Here's a heal for you, Hedgegosa. Good job. We're going to go ahead and move this even further out of the beam. And now people have to move over to it rather than standing in the darkness. But I guess not everyone knows that. Eternal Darkness comes out. We're going to need another candle. Luckily, somebody is over there already grabbing one. Going to use this to keep the little shits off of the candle for us. He's going to do a Shadow Blast into a beam. The beam will force me to move this in a direction of some sort like this. I barely have to move it just to make sure that it doesn't get hit. Beautiful. And now we can use some offensive cooldowns for once. That would be good. I'm very bad about using my offensive cooldowns, and you'll notice that because I don't keep them on cooldown all the time, which is what I really should do. We're going to Touch of Death the Emissary. Not beefy enough yet to kill it in one hit, but it brings it down real low, and then people can take care of it quite quickly themselves. All right. Another move like so. Kind of random with the direction I'm moving it in, but it's whatever. We're going to stun all of these guys so they don't cast on El Jefe, or on our candle rather. And there's another Eternal Darkness. I'm going to go ahead and grab this, run back. Probably annoying for our friends here, but it's whatever. I wasn't sure if somebody was going to do something to help with the candle situation. We're coming up on the end of the boss fight here. We have another explosive keg to send. We're going to send it in this direction or move it in this direction. People with circles are not grabbing candles, so we're low on the candle percentage. But the boss is basically defeated now, and we're pretty much good to go. There we go. 18 rune crests plus 2. How close was it to plus 3? I don't actually know, but maybe we could have done it. Oh, Ratchet Spark, perfect. Maybe we could have done it if I had not wiped us on the second pull of the dungeon, or third pull, or whatever it was. I have a Priory, so I'm just gonna keep that. Doesn't matter. It's a plus 2 ring? Keystone, whatever. Man, I'm so flustered. So flustered. It's not even funny. And we're gonna leave party. There we go. Okay, well, that was a run. We did okay. The Candle King got a bit messy, but the healer was able to heal through it, so it didn't really matter. I feel like I did okay. I don't know how much I sweated the healer. Let's take a look here. I am... Well, 226 million healing doesn't seem like a whole lot, but overall, with them having only healed 685 million, I feel like that's okay. They healed my Black Ox Snatcher a little bit too. That's nice. I feel like I did okay. I don't know. There's a lot of things I noticed where I wasn't using Purifying Brew as much as I needed to. I need to make some weak auras that are going to tell me, or adjust some weak auras to tell me that I need to use Purifying Brew more. Such as when I'm at like 10 million stagger or more, I really want to use it. I think it's a good idea to do so. Another thing, I didn't adjust my weak aura to help me with this thing, so maybe I should adjust that to do Luck of the Draw stuff. So I need to go get punched over here to get the weak aura ID or Luck of the Draw. So when I see that that I have a Fortifying Brew active, I'm going to go ahead and just wait for that to happen. I can find the ID up here. One of these days it's gonna happen, I promise.
A few moments later.
This guy doesn't really attack us all that quickly, so it's gonna take me a moment to get the buff.
One eternity later.
Okay, it really doesn't want to give me the tier set buff. That's kind of annoying. Can I please have the tier set buff? Okay, we're gonna go look elsewhere for the tier set buff. Jesus Christ, maybe there's a pre-made weak aura for it. Who knows? All right, we found it on Wowhead, so I'm gonna go back to here. We're gonna go for a name. If I have Luck of the Draw, this is a specific, actually there's multiple effects called that, so let's do exact one. This is the exact one that gives us the blackout kick thing. Own only, of course, just to make sure that it is our own buff, and then we have to adjust all triggers to any triggers, dynamic information for the first thing, and then we go over to conditions and we say if aura 2 is active true, then glow 1 on, and we're just gonna go make sure that the glow makes sense. Custom color, text is in the bottom right. 2 stacks of blackout kick being empowered makes sense to me. Works out. Okay. Well, I don't want to sit here and make sure that it works. I trust that my Weakara works. We're just going to see it active in the next dungeon I do. So that's a nice little improvement right there. One thing that I was suggested by Seeker is that I kind of don't have to track Shuffle. If you don't have Shuffle up, you've got a whole bunch of other problems. So what we're going to track instead is Charred Passions, because we want to keep this buff up pretty much all the times by using Breath of Fire, which comes in handy. So we reset our Breath of Fire cooldown by using Kick Smash, so we will pretty much always have it, because we can Kick Smash Breath of Fire and keep this buff up all the time, and it works out. Breath of Fire is good AoE, and it's also good for aggro, so it's just good. We're going to go over to the Shuffle Tracker. We're going to replace the buff that we're tracking, and we're going to get rid of this Charred Passions thing. We're just going to delete that Weakara. And then here, the Shuffle Tracker, we're going to rename to Charred Passions Tracker. And we're going to change the color of the bar because it no longer matches the icon, which this would be some kind of something like either yellow from the hit, or like, let's do something red-orangish, something like this. Yeah, that'll do. I think that's good. So now instead of it tracking the other thing, what's it called? Shuffle, which we don't care about. We're instead going to get Charred Passions. Now we also have to adjust another thing, which is the actual duration of the buff. So the max duration of the buff is 7 seconds, so we have to adjust for that. The reason it's showing up only half of the bar is because we set a maximum duration for Shuffle so that it doesn't do some weird shit because it's a buff that keeps blah, blah, blah. I don't want to bore you with it too much because Shuffle doesn't matter as a buff tracking. So we're going to go over to Display, adjust progress settings, just remove the maximum, and I think that should be good. So let's see what happens if I extend the buff. Does it make the buff timer weird? Let's go over here and extend. No, it goes back up to the maximum. That is exactly what we want. Perfect. So we have Charred Passions here, which is good. We want to keep that track of that because it increases the damage we do with Blackout Kick and with some other stuff as well. Spinning Crane Kick, but Blackout Kick is more important, obviously. So that is good. Very, very good. Okay, so what do I need to do? What else was there that I wanted to do? Maybe set up something for my offensive cooldowns, maybe some reminder, because I am just not utilizing them, and I should be sending them on cooldown. I'll do that probably in the next episode. For now, I think friends, we are done. First episode of the Brewmaster. We hit 653 item level. We have maybe actually with Valor Stones and Ruined Crests now, maybe we can actually reach the item level we want, which is 654. I think one more upgrade might just do it. Let's find out. I kind of want to find out. Let's see. 8 out of 8 shoulder. Boom. Is that enough? Oh, not even that is enough to bring us to 654. But yes, friends, we've gone from 527 to 654 in like 2 days. We've done our first run with Brewmaster in M+. We did a whole raid. We did 4 delves. We did a bunch of other stuff. We are ready to start the rest of the series pretty damn well. We've got 4 set. We even now have Weakaras to track it properly. Now, I'll continue farming 6s later today in the stream, so make sure you join in on the stream. The best way to find out when I stream is either to get on Discord, where I will always drop a notification, following me on Twitch, and making sure you enable notifications there, following me on YouTube, or rather subscribing on YouTube, and making sure you click the notification bell. That way you'll know I'm streaming. And today, on the stream, we'll be doing some 6s, because I have a little rule where I can't clear keys that I haven't already cleared on a video, so the highest I can clear is 6s. Otherwise, I'd probably be making a push for higher to get some Gilded Crests. That's pretty much it for this video. If you enjoyed it, drop a like, let me know what you liked about it in a comment down below. If you had fun, make sure you subscribe because there's more episodes coming. If you want to see what happens between these episodes, you can check out the stream. If you can't make it to the stream, you can find the VODs on the live section of this YouTube channel. But as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next episode. This is going to be difficult to commentate over. This is a piano class, and yeah, when I'm tanking, I already have a lot of responsibility. This is going to be interesting. Get ready for a lot of thingy things with the stuffy stuff.